Recordings in progress. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben,
I'm Danielle.
and today we are here to talk about conventions.
Yep, because we both recently went to one, not the same
Yeah,
one, but you worked at the one you went to, right? Or did you actually
I,
just go?
I I did. I got to walk around a little bit, but I was there for the shop though. We had
Uh,
a table there, and yeah, so we were selling mostly Magic and Pokemon cards.
And I know that we mentioned it on our last video, but what convention was it? And where was
It,
it? And when was it?
so it was called TeebCon, TEEB, TeebCon. It was put on by the local game stores in town as well as the local like Star Wars Association.
You guys have a Star Wars association out there?
Yeah,
Like, do
yeah,
they do like Star Wars stuff?
yeah, yeah. Minnesota Star Wars Association. A guy named Steven
Oh,
Carbo. Yeah, he runs it.
interesting. I'm not a
Yeah,
Star Wars fan, which I know everybody's gonna like hate me now, but
huh,
so
yeah,
I mean, I saw all the movies, but I don't keep up on it. But that's
yeah,
interesting to have a
yeah.
some,
It used to be before this year. It was a Star Wars convention, and then they switched it to be like a gaming convention
uh,
to try and get more people. Yeah.
and how did it go? Like, were there a lot of people there? Did you guys do well, or how many days
So
were you there?
So I think they sold about 1,000 tickets or so.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, for the first, it was pretty good for their first year. Uh, it was okay. The store didn't make too much money. We probably lost money on it just because the our wages, Ella and I were there. We were there like 12 hours each day
Oh, that's a lot.
between setup and everything. But it went okay. It was busy the first half of each day because it was a 2 day convention, Saturday, Sunday. The first half of each day was pretty steady, and then the second half of the day it just like completely like died out. Like there was no like de-escalation. It just like died.
How was the weather that day?
Weather was pretty decent. It wasn't too hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if it was too hot, maybe people just went early in the morning, got everything done. Was it a big convention? Like how much was it? How much space was it?
So they had two floors of the convention center. They had one like giant open gaming area, which was mostly Warhammer tables.
Hmm.
Yeah. And they had a small room of like Magic where they ran like Magic drafts. And then they had a table of board games. They probably had a dozen or two board games. But every time I went up there was probably like four people playing board games.
Were they all playing Warhammer and the Magic? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was mostly Warhammer.
Okay. So is Warhammer popular out there?
Yeah, there's one store that really pushes it, Level Up, the one that I do board games for.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have weekend Warhammer tournaments, and they get like 40 to 80 people.
Oh, that's actually pretty impressive. I've never
Yeah,
played Warhammer, but I've seen people play it. It
yeah.
gets pretty involved.
Yeah, they had a lot. I don't know exactly how many they had at this convention for Warhammer, but they had a really big turnout. Warhammer takes up a lot of space too.
Yeah, it does.
Does yeah. So
Yeah. So I went to Dragon Con, which was
yeah.
Labor Day weekend in Atlanta. Humid as all get out. Like
Oh yeah.
last year when I went, I got really lucky because it was not humid at all. But this year was awful. And
Oh
I made the mistake of wanting to go check out some stuff on, I think it was Saturday, and
yeah.
they do a big Dragon Con parade.
Okay.
And it starts, I think, at like 8 a.m. And so I thought, oh, okay, it's like going on 11. This thing should be over. Yeah, it wasn't. And I was wearing that day I dressed up as Liliana from Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering. And by the time I got to the convention, walked around, did everything, and then came back to the hotel, I was like, I am just disgusting. So so
Oh yeah.
but yeah, but that's a huge one. There was like 75,000 people at that one.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I went to a Brandon Sanderson panel. He wasn't there, but it was people who work for him because I guess the fifth book in the Stormlight Archive series is coming out.
Okay. Yeah.
I've actually never read that, so I'm listening to the first one now because I was like, well, that sounds kind of cool. I got a lot of spoilers, but let me read the book. So I'm listening to
Okay.
that. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, they had I saw 3 bands play there, which was fun. But it ran very late. Like I went to a show, my band I went to see, the main band I went to see, Crew Shadows, they came on at 2 a.m. Monday
Wow.
morning, and I had to be at the airport at 5 a.m. for my flight. So I was a little tired. But the event, they have a big vendor hall that takes up like 4 floors. Sherilyn Kenyon, she's an author, was there. So I got one of her new book that came out. And they have a gaming area. So they had a bunch of board games that you could play, but you had to pay to play them. And I'm like, well, I can just play the games I brought versus paying to play them. But it was kind of cool that they had that because they had all kinds of tables set up so you could play board games, but they did have what looked like Warhammer, and they had magic drafts going on at the same time, but I didn't partake in any of the drafts. So, but it was packed, lots of people. It was super fun,
Awesome.
but so humid. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. So
And that's in Atlanta?
it's in Atlanta. It takes up
Yeah.
downtown. I think it's like 4 of the big hotels downtown: the Sheraton,
Okay.
the Marriott, Hyatt, and whatever the other one is. I can't think of the other one.
Okay.
And there's something going on in each hotel. And then they do, I got there because I had my month end. So I got there Thursday night late. And so I didn't get my badge until the Friday. So I just kind of walked around, got the lay of the land on the Friday, and then Saturday,
Okay.
Sunday, went and did everything. The best time to go to the vendor hall, I learned, is like first thing Sunday morning and get in line early. I think we got in line at 8-ish a.m. and they opened at 10. So, but they moved us right in and we got through, and it was nice because not everybody was in the hall yet. So, because if you go later, you wait like 4 hours just to get
Oh,
into the vendor hall.
okay.
It's insane.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when people go to conventions, they want to go check out the people selling the collectibles, the knickknacks, whatever. And so they have one of the big hotels, it's 4 levels, and each level
Oh,
you
yeah.
have different artists and whatnot. So,
Okay.
but yeah, so it was huge. So
Yeah. What?
yeah,
Yeah. The last time I've been to Atlanta, that was 2014, I want to say.
2014. So it was
Yeah.
probably less, well, it's still probably humid.
Yeah.
So, but no,
But
next year it'd be cool to get like a bunch of people to go because it is a super fun convention, and it is, after hours it's a party convention because I mean, you can drink all day long at the hotels, which I'm not a drinker, but you can. And when we were waiting in line, so a guy named Voltaire played. I don't know if anybody who is on this channel knows who Voltaire is, but he's actually super entertaining to watch. So we were standing in line waiting to see him, and this guy, he had clearly had a few drinks, but he was just having the time of his life in line. He had his little boom box, had his music on, was dancing in the street. I was like, this is just the greatest thing. And Captain America drove by on his motorcycle, and it was pretty awesome. He had the Captain America shield, he had the Thor hammer. So, and I thought, well,
cool.
that's probably the highlight of the convention, watching Captain America drive by on his motorcycle. So there were a lot of cool
Okay.
costumes. So it was super fun.
Awesome. Glad you had a good time with that.
So did people dress up at TEEP when you were there?
There was a few people. There wasn't a lot of dressing up. Uh, I know there's a lot of like Star Wars themed dress up. I wore my Slytherin outfit,
Oh,
my
nice.
robes. That got a little warm inside the convention, but there wasn't too many bodies, thankfully.
Did Ella dress up?
Ella did not. I tried really hard to get her to dress up, but she was definitely not having any of that.
Well, we gotta get her to dress up next year if you guys
Yes.
are gonna do it next year.
Yeah, I would like you to have you come out for that and hope maybe run the board game events.
Yeah, I mean,
If
you're
you,
probably way better at running board game events than
but
I
I
am.
just, yeah,
So, but I
I
can
want to,
bring a couple of my games that I do know how to play very well
yeah,
and that I can teach
yeah,
very
that'd be
well.
cool. I would like to have possibly, because I know I talked to Steven about possibly being in charge of the board games next year and bringing a
Nice.
Sharita Nice board game library.
When is it again?
It is August, end of August.
Oh, end of August. Okay. Oh, I think that was like a week or two before Dragon Con, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll keep that. I better write that. I'll keep that on my calendar and we'll see what we
Yeah.
can work out for that time.
Okay. That'd be
Um,
cool.
and then maybe we can run a Commander event too, because I like to play Commander.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And did I show you the banner I got from that?
No, no, I don't think you did.
So I
Have
actually,
have you shown it on the channel yet?
I have not.
Oh, well, then here you go. This is perfect time to
Yeah, so it
showcase your
was on,
Commander.
yeah, so they had different guests at the event, and then at the end of the show, they had a silent auction for different banners. And so I bought this banner
Oh,
here.
you showed me the picture you took with her, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really
so,
awesome.
yeah, and then she signed it right here, and it's just this big banner that I have to find a place to put it.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
love that. Was she really cool? Did you get to talk to her
yeah,
much?
we did. It wasn't very, the convention wasn't super busy, and so I actually got to talk to her probably for a good 15-20 minutes.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, she was really nice.
Did
She
you
looked
have
like,
you been watching much wrestling?
not wrestling lately. I've every time I try to, I just don't get around to it, I guess. I just have so many things I gotta keep up with. I try to keep up with baseball. I try to keep up with board gaming stuff and magic stuff, and I try to like keep up with what's happening, but I don't actually like, get a chance to watch it much anymore.
I I just watched finally got around to watching their Bash in Berlin, which was one of their pay-per-views that they just did.
Oh yeah,
And the main match was Randy Orton and Gunther, which I know we're supposed to be talking games, but we can talk
no,
wrestling.
that's fine.
And the match I actually think the match went on too long. And there were parts of it where both of them, you could tell they were struggling to do their moves. So it's like, maybe they should have cut this down by
Oh
10.
really?
Yeah, it's the first time I've actually really been like, wow, they're really struggling to do these moves. But it was a good pay-per-view. SummerSlam was actually better, I thought, but it was good.
Speaking of wrestling, I actually wanted to show you something I got yesterday.
Okay.
My boss bought a collection of action figures yesterday just from someone, and I got this old Sting figure
Oh my
still in the
gosh,
box.
that is awesome.
I know.
Nala wants to partake in our video.
Hi, Nala. So
Say hi to
yeah,
everybody, Nala.
oh,
Sorry, she's really needy and it's almost close to their feeding time, so she's being needy. That's really cool. Where did you find that at?
I just got it from a collection at the shop. He just someone selling sports action figures.
Oh, very
I think that
cool.
was the only wrestling one but there was a lot of baseball ones. So it was 90s figures when they were trying to pump out a bunch of figures back in the 90s,
Oh yeah.
especially like baseball.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
and you watched the Vikings game today, right?
I did, yes.
And were you happy with the results?
Yeah, the Vikings won today,
Okay, that's
beat
good.
San Francisco.
That's good. I don't
Yeah,
really know anything about those games.
that's fine.
And we're not going to turn this into a sports channel, guys, so don't worry.
Don't worry about that.
But Ben and I did used to watch a lot of wrestling together. So,
Yes.
so,
And
so what other, well, do you have any other conventions on the horizon that you're going to go to?
I don't think so. I thought about doing there's FallCon, which is like a comic convention down in the Twin Cities.
Oh,
I,
that was
I have
fun.
I have free tickets through the store, but I don't think so.
Why?
Just because like going down to the Twin Cities, taking the weekend off, and
Is
just
that
going down.
far for you, the Twin Cities? I don't know
It's
what that is.
like 3 hours.
Oh, that is a bit far.
Yeah.
That is a bit far. There's a convention. I don't know if you'd call it a convention. It's like a fantasy all genre weekend thing where you can camp and there's vendors. So it sounds like a convention, but it kind of sounds like a Ren Fair, maybe on steroids. But Abney Park is playing there. And I thought, oh, that'd be fun. But it's in Woodland, Washington, which is about
Okay.
2.5 hours away.
Okay.
So I'm like, would I want to camp and blah, blah. Plus, it's kind of pricey to camp. So,
Yeah.
but I might wind up maybe just getting the like Saturday night ticket and going, but we'll see.
Sure.
But that horror convention in Seattle that you've been to a few times, I think.
Yep.
Horror, is it called Horror Fest, maybe?
A Crypticon?
Crypticon, yeah, I think that's coming up. I
Okay.
thought I saw an
Uh,
ad for that, so I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll go this year to that.
cool. They actually had the Twin Cities had their Crypticon this weekend.
Oh, and that's too far for you to go.
Yeah, one of our customers, Adam, went to that and he said it was pretty fun, but I've never been to the Minneapolis one.
Oh, and is Minneapolis closer to you then than?
That's Twin Cities.
Oh, that is in Twin Cities. Okay.
Yeah,
I sorry, I don't know the area.
that
I
Twin
don't
Cities,
even know my own area.
yeah, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Okay, got it. Got it. Was Cassandra Peterson there? Elvira?
I don't think so.
No, because that's how I saw that it was coming up because she's going to be here in Seattle.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm like, and I know you asked me to go a couple times. I was like, maybe I should go one of these days because conventions are actually pretty fun.
yeah. The last time I went to Crypticon, it was before COVID, and I remember they had a couple of different like side events. They had like performers doing things. There was one lady that was a juggler, and she was juggling different objects. I don't
Jeez.
know if I told you the story
I don't think you
or not.
did, but I know you
Okay,
didn't tell the people on the channel, so it sounds like it's
yeah,
a good story. So
yeah. So she was juggling things, and she added her own little like dry humor to it, and she kept dropping things. And for a while there, I thought that was part of her act, just trying to be funny. But then, well, I just after a few times, I realized, oh, she's actually and not doing this on purpose. She just dropped them. And then I stayed for a little bit and I was like, oh, she's probably new to this. And then she talked about how she's been doing this her whole life and juggling and whatever. And then I just kept dropping things that she was juggling. And then eventually I just got tired of it and I left like 3/4 of the way through.
she should have made that part of her like act because that'd be kind of
Yeah.
funny for her to be like, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this my whole life and I totally suck at it. So watch me drop all my stuff or whatever."
Yeah.
That would have been kind of funny.
Yeah. And then later on that day when I was walking around the convention, she saw me and she recognized me from the crowd and she's like, hey, did you enjoy the show?
Were
And
you were you honest?
I was like, oh, yeah, it was nice. And then I just walked away.
What kind of objects was she juggling? Was it like knives?
Like, there were more like pins and balls and things. So nothing too dangerous,
Oh, okay. It doesn't
thankfully.
sound like she should. Yeah, it doesn't sound like she should be juggling dangerous objects.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to be nice, but yeah, I've never had that before where I've gone to like a different to an event and then I've had people ask me like after it that were doing the performances like what do you think of the show? And then yeah,
Yeah, because like you don't want to be rude, but if you didn't enjoy the show, it's like, oh, how should I answer this?
because I don't want to be like, oh, there's a reason why I left early.
Yeah, but maybe she was looking for constructive criticism. I mean,
Possibly.
who knows?
Nice enough lady though, but a
So
little odd.
what games have you been playing lately?
So we've been playing, so we got so this game Gnome Hollow was sent to us from the op to review, so we're gonna have to review that soon. Shrita and I've been playing a game called Gnar. You're building up a Viking clan and you're using that clan to explore areas and you're killing that clan off in order to explore areas
Oh,
and
fun.
trying to racing to get victory points. We've been playing that a lot. I picked up a couple games from TeebCon. One of my friends, Daryl from Oaken Hollow Games, it has a new game that he's prototyping called Capture the Flag.
Now, is that the same guy who does that Soul All Souls Eve or whatever it's called that you really
Yeah,
like?
All Hallows Eve.
All Hallows Eve, yeah.
Yeah,
Same guy, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. His table was actually right next to ours, so
Oh,
that was
that's
fun.
pretty. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
so him and I were pretty much talking the whole weekend.
And
And
you played the new game?
I haven't yet.
Yeah.
So we were just busy enough to where I didn't get a chance to get a game in of that, but not busy enough to actually make sales or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we also had a couple other people there. Atlas Games was there, They were showing off their games. I know Gloom was there. I talked to the one of the managers from there, and they're gonna send me a game to review
Oh,
from there.
did they tell you anything about the game, or they're just like,
Yeah, it's called Dice Miner.
Dice Miner? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you have to let us know how that goes.
yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. I have got to reach out to them. And then there's a trading card game that's local called Ward that they were there. I've tried running events with them before unsuccessfully, but they're really nice. We're gonna try and plan an event coming up at some point at our mall location in Duluth.
Have you played Ward before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a trading card game, and you have your monster, like your active monster, kind of like with Pokemon, and all the combat is done with D6 dice. You're rolling D6s to determine whether or not you hit and how much damage you do.
Oh, how many D6s do you use?
You only really need one, but there are some effects that make you roll multiple. So
Okay.
like if you have like this big dragon character, he's going to do more than 1d6 worth of damage, whereas this little tiny frog might only do a single d6 worth of damage.
Oh, so it's based on the size and whatever the monster is. That
Yeah.
sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I played our weekly D&D game last week, and we went up against a Medusa.
Yeah.
There were 4 people at the table. I had to run 2 characters because we had a couple people who couldn't play, so I was running my barbarian. And you know how barbarians are. They don't care. They just want to kill everything.
Yeah.
And my druid, and I prepared greater restoration because we're like, oh, we're dealing with a Medusa. We should definitely have greater restoration. So what happens? Like one of our big spellcasters and our druid turned to stone like by turn 3. Our dice were
Wow.
sucking. My barbarian is at like 40 some odd health, and I'm trying to deal with because it's one guy and then the Medusa. And now there's just 2 of us left standing. So the monk that we have, he's trying to take down the Medusa, and I'm trying to take down the main bad guy that we were sent in there to stop. And so I feel like that we might not survive this. So, but so we'll see
Have
how
you
that goes.
found, yeah, have you found a way to reverse that being
Well,
stoned or
well, that's
yeah?
what the whole greater restoration was for. And I think it's a level 5, if I'm remembering correctly, a level 5 spell slot. And my druid
Yeah.
at the level that we're at, I have 2 spell slots that I could use for level 5. So I was like, okay, 2 of you can get turned to stone and I can deal with it, but the rest of us can't. And what happens? I get turned to stone. So I'm hoping that our main druid who plays can join us next time, and hopefully she has greater restoration prepared and then can at least save the 2 of us. And hopefully my barbarian can take down the one dude before I die.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a barbarian would have a harder time versus another character that's a little bit more stealthy when
yeah,
it
my
comes to Medusa.
barbarian's not great at stealth. But but I'm not looking, she's not looking at the Medusa. So there's the guy standing like here, and then Medusa's here. So my barbarian is standing in front of the guy, and the monk is standing in front of Medusa. And I've got my head turned to the Medusa. So at any time, the Medusa could probably just turn around and stab me in the back, and I'd probably not see it coming. But we'll see what happens. I'll have to report
Okay.
on if I like,
Yes.
apparently, like you wanted to do a TPK tonight. So cool. Our DM actually felt bad. He goes, I didn't mean for this to happen. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't your fault. It was our dice. We rolled like crap. So,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
pretty exciting. So,
Yeah. Unfortunately, my D&D group kind of fell apart.
did you only
Um,
play it that one time?
we only played the one time, and
Okay.
then yeah,
Well, maybe try it again. Maybe with a
uh,
different group if they're not
yeah,
if
our group fell apart. So one of the girls, things always come up with her, and then Sharita is now busy on Mondays because she has bowling on Mondays now,
oh,
and then the other girl and I had a falling out.
oh, can you maybe pick a different night that Sharita's not busy and then maybe pick a couple other people that could join you guys?
We could try. She's been pretty stretched thin lately,
Oh,
especially with her moving and
that's
jobs and bowling 3 times a week. And
she bowls three, so she's like a serious bowler.
yeah, she bowled like a 259 on last Monday. Yeah,
Dang.
she almost had a perfect game.
So she's like not only a serious bowler, but she's a really good serious bowler.
Yeah,
Good for
yeah,
her.
yeah.
So, well, you should try to find some other people to run another, just to see if you like it.
Okay.
Yeah, just because you only
Some
did it
point.
the one time. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and you know, my thing is like, I'll try anything twice before I decide I don't like it. Maybe a third time if I'm still unsure after the second time, but definitely by the
Okay.
third time, I know if I either like it or I don't like it.
I didn't hate it. It just my group fell through just because one person's busy and 2 people are busy, and then one person I had a falling out.
Yeah. Does anybody ever come into the store though, asking for any games for it?
Sometimes, usually people want to play with their own friends though. They don't
Oh,
want
so
to.
they're not looking for a game to join.
And most of the people that I don't want to be too judgmental, because I try not to judge people too much, but you can sometimes tell with people like, hey, they're not going to be your kind of person.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of the people that are looking for people, I can honestly tell wouldn't be someone I would want to do a whole D&D campaign with.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. I mean, I like it, and
Yeah,
it sounded like you did pretty good with your first time running your
yeah,
game. So
yeah, it was fun.
be kind of cool to hear about other ones that you do.
Yeah,
So what's
but
next on the agenda as far as gameplay or whatever?
so we definitely want to get our review done for Gnome Hollow. I want to play Daryl's game. I have a couple of games that Sharita and I are playing. We have a couple legacy games we want to play. We started My Island. Um, we uh, we have Pandemic Legacy at some point.
Oh, I have that too.
Yeah,
I want to play that.
yeah. And I'm gonna get Sagrada, the Legacy Sagrada game.
Mhm.
We're gonna get that. I also have Ticket to Ride Legacy
Oh, interesting.
as
I've
well.
actually never played that game. I've heard really good things about it, but I've never played Ticket to Ride.
Really?
Yeah, I've never
We'll,
played
we'll,
that one.
we'll
So
play it on BGA sometime this week then.
okay, sounds good. We can do, or not we can do, but I did the Clank Legacy and that was super fun.
Oh
That
yeah,
that's only, and I feel like most legacy games are 10 to 12 sessions
yeah,
long. And I think Clank was 12.
okay.
But it was real. I actually like Clank. I think Clank is a really good game. And the legacy was definitely awesome.
Yeah. I heard the writing on that one was really good
Yes.
on the story.
Yeah, and if you play with people who kind of like role play or who kind of like really get into what they read, it just adds. Like the guy
Cool.
who I was playing with, he just we were cracking up the whole time. It was just
Oh,
it was a good time.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the only thing I didn't like though is this is actually true in the real Clank. So you know you're kind of going through this dungeon or whatever, kind of collecting artifacts and trying to get as many points and then trying to get back home before the dragon kills you. Because there's dragon attacks with whatever cards you pull.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, so I'll have to keep this quick. But with the legacy, well, and with the regular, if you make it back home, but you die, like the dragon kills you, but you still are above a certain line, you still get your points. I'm like, but the dragon
Nice.
kills you. Just because you get past a certain point, if the dragon kills you, then you're dead. So even though
Yeah.
I had the most points one game, they're like, well, you didn't actually win. I did. I'm like, but you died. So I'm always like, nope, I still won that game. So,
Yep.
because I think that's a weird rule mechanic. Because I think if you're killed in the game, no matter where you're on the board, you're killed in the game. But for some reason, that doesn't happen with Clank. Because
Okay.
I'll tell you, if a dragon breathes fire on you, no matter where you're at in life, you're not going to walk away from that. So
Right.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but my time is running up, so we're gonna have to wrap up this recording.
All right.
Sorry,
Sounds
I don't
good.
pay for these recordings, so I only get like half hour or whatever. But
That's all right.
But it was good to catch up and jaw jack about,
Yes,
even though it's
course.
called jaw jacking about conventions, we also talked about other things. So when I upload,
Yes.
I'll change the name. But let's connect this week and then let's
All
connect
right.
on video in another couple weeks. And I'll try to talk about other games I play other than D&D.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. And
Thank you, everyone.
make sure everybody you like and subscribe and share with your friends, and always comment with what you guys are playing, because we like to know what you guys play.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Enjoy your Sunday. Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye.